uh, guys, to have a Java class like this one, I hope you have done a number of things on your machine. Now these two are very important things to do, otherwise you cannot be able to have this Java, a simple Java application. Now, but if you've done these two, then well and good, you can be able to start writing classes like this one. So for example, this line you're seeing here at the beginning of the lines, normally it's always the number one line. As you can see here, it's always the number one line, and it starts with package and then writes the name of the package. Now if you've done these two things, such as install Java on your machine, normally the first thing you will do after having installed these two is to create a project, and in that project you can create a package, and in that package you can have a bunch of classes. So this class will be in one of the packages in your project. So for every package in which you write classes, on top of at the beginning of the class, you'd always see this line package and then the name. Right here at the top left corner we have a file tab. So the file, you can see, has a bunch of things, has a bunch of options they can go with, but normally this new option at the very top is where we start with. That's after having installed the Eclipse IDE, for example, and then you go and click on Java project. So this is a window that will pop up, and it wants you to write the project name so that you can enter the name of the project. So you can say, for example, variable project. Then here you can just click on finish, and of course somewhere you have your project. So here I have 4 projects in number, and I've just created this project, the project you're seeing right here. So when I right click on the new project, which is a variable project, I go to new and package, and then it needs me to create the name, to give the name of the package. And as you can see here, the source folder is source, which is in variable project. So I can just start writing the name of the package. So I would type learning variable. I click on finish. So inside this variable project, when I collapse here, I have the source folder, and I have the learning projects, learning variables package. And on source, since source contains the package, I can just right click on the source, and I go to new, and I can create a Java class or an interface. But for now you don't need to you first need to know what a class is, or you first need to explore classes. So I click on class and I give the name of the class, say variables, and you can just leave the rest of the settings as they are, unless you really want to make some other changes, and then I just click on finish. So here, right here, we have we only have three active lines in this program, and as I told you, in every class that you you create in a package, you'll always have this line on top which is telling you the package of this class is this. So it writes, for example, this package is learning variables, and yeah, it will always be there. We are going to look at a variable. We're actually going to implement. We're going to see how to declare variables and how to actually use them in our program. A simple Java application or program starts with a class, which is this, a class, and a main method. This method will always be there, and it is known as the start of the program. And so if you don't have this main method, your application will not run, because this is the entry point of a Java application. So this simple program, I have only one method, which is the main method, which has to always be there, and then I have the class. So a simple Java program will start with you defining a class and then give it a name. For example, the name of this is a Java application, and then define a main method. And a main method is always written in this one way. This is what a simple Java application looks like. In most cases, you'll always see 5 lines. So 5 lines would always be enough for us, the simplest Java application, to look at to actually implement variables. So in the last video, we looked at the definition of a variable, and we looked at what it should have, the parts that it should have for it to be a valid variable. So in most cases, we will always have 4 types of variables. So but for this video, my focus is to only show you how to declare a variable in action, and to try to use it in a simple way, which we can add on at the time. But as a recipe, I just wanted to show you guys, or to tell you, that in most cases we have 4 types of variables. We have local variables, we have global variables, we have instance variables, and we have static or class variables. So have in mind that we have 4 types of variables, but for now I just want to show you how you can declare a variable. and use it, run it, so that you can see the output. You can see the output of the from the compiler. Normally the compiler takes our declared variables and tries to process them and gives us the result or the output, and normally we would see that output in what we call the console. Well, let's start with the type would be string, which is a reference type, and a string is a sequence of characters. So we would say string, and let's say my name equals, then you open the quotes, the double quotes, and line of code that we use to run to also print out our results, and that is the system dot out dot print ln, and then inside this, so this is a line of code that we use to print out our results. So what in this case, what are we printing out? We want to print out our variable name, which is we want to print out the variable value Abraham, which is labeled by my name. We are going to put inside this parenthesis the pair of braces. We say my, and it's already inside the pair of braces. So this line, the whole of this line, is going to print out the variable value. So up here, here you click on you click run. This button is for run our program. You can see in the console I have the name Abraham, which has been printed out, and can go on and make other definitions using other types, for example primitives. So in this case I'm going to declare an integer variable, int maybe age equals 30. For for integer variables, we do not have to enclose the values in anything. They just have to be literally written the way they are, and because these are integers, these are primitive values, these are integer primitive values, and they don't have to be enclosed in anything. So so for primitive values, it's only a character, a char, for example char, letter a equals, and then put a semicolon. Now it is only a char. For primitives, it's only char or character that is enclosed in a pair of single quotes. The rest, such as a byte, short, int, long, double, float, boolean, all these do not have to be enclosed in actually they of course do not have to be enclosed in anything. But for character, it has to be enclosed in a pair of single quotes. For the case of the string type, it is a reference type, and it of course has to be enclosed in a pair of double quotes. Ladies and gentlemen, the focus of this video is just to show you how to declare and initialize a variable in a Java computer program, which I have done. So finally, let's try to print out this. We print out age. So let's replace this my name with a variable name age, and we run the program up here with this button, this green button. So we get 30 in the console. Now, with this line that prints our results to the console, it's not necessarily variables that we have to print out using this line of code. We can actually directly print out a line or a string in this pair of braces. So assuming we do not have this, let me just comment this out. So assuming we didn't declare any variables as this, you see here this name, this variable name has been underlined in red because the compiler is not seeing any variable declared by name age. So it's giving us, so when I hover over the name age, it's telling us age cannot be resolved to a variable. So for now, let's remove it, and instead we are going to actually print out a string of words. So as a rule of thumb, let's first put a pair of double quotes, and then we start writing a line of strings. Let's say this is a simple Java program. So we've written this line of strings directly in this method called println, which is normally print line. And of course later on you'd come to know the meaning of these two names, the out and system. So for now we are only looking at how to come up with a variable, having in mind that with static programming languages like Java, we have to first state the type, and then we give it a variable name and then a value, and then having in mind that different primitive types have a way their values are written. So for example, integer, its value is not enclosed in anything except you have to put a semicolon at the end. And then so this line in this case, it's just simply running a line of strings. Let's run it, and so that you'd see the output.